Mr.Bones. I'd buy that for $1.
What up, peeps? Mr. Bones back at you, and welcome back to Dollar Tree Theater. And what we're talking about is Phobias. 2021's Phobias, directed by Camilla Bell, Marit Legault, and Joe Sill. Written by Joe Sill, Marit Legault, and Broderick Engelhard. Starring Leonardo Nam as Johnny, Macy Gray as Renee, Martina Garcia as Alma, and Ross Partridge as Dr. Wright. 5 dangerous patients suffering from extreme phobias at a government testing facility are put to the ultimate test under the supervision of a crazed doctor and his quest to weaponize fear. When this movie first comes on, you meet Johnny, who's at a convenience store picking up some things. And when he walks out, this group of racist white guys come out, running their mouth and picking on him and saying racist shit. And they say he can go, but you better not come back around here. But they come flying through the alley and hit him and then run their mouth some more. Then he goes home and you see he's caring for his ailing father. And he lives in a rundown apartment building with lots of other neighbors. And there's an abusive husband that lives across the hallway. He would like to do something about it, but he can't. He doesn't have the courage to do so. So he goes inside and tends to his father and stuff. Then he gets on his computer and some random person starts talking to him, saying they want to be his friend. So he starts interacting with the person, which turns out to be like a entity that travels through electricity that eventually starts coming into the real world. And so he goes back to the convenience store that he was forbidden to go back to, talking on the phone to the entity, and the bullies walk up and the entity asks for permission to help, and it comes out and fries the guy. So then it wants to continue to keep doing stuff like that. So when he's talking to it the next night on the phone, it hears the abusive husband across the hallway and asks for permission to stop it. And he hears something and he goes and looks out the hallway and sees that the lady's freaking out and the guy's been fried. He's a little iffy about the situation, but things are so-so until the being or whatever it is wants to take control and say, your father is in pain, let me help, which means he wants to kill him and put him out of his misery, which Johnny does not want that at all. He said no, he wants to be with me. So then the entity comes out in almost like part electricity, human form, and they're running for their lives down the stairs. And somehow Johnny finds himself in this facility deep in the desert with this crazy doctor and these 5 other patients that all suffer from these different phobias, which are robophobia, which is the fear of robots or artificial intelligence, PHOBIA, which is the fear of driving, epiphophobia, these words are hard to pronounce, the fear of teenagers, hoplophobia, the fear of firearms, and atlophobia, the fear of imperfection. Well, as you meet these new characters in this facility, the movie turns into an anthology as they tell the backstory of each character. I guess Johnny's is the robophobia because he's really into tech stuff and computers and stuff. There's a story of vihophobia, the fear of driving, which is a female and her boyfriend try to rob this guy in a back alley when he's going to deposit the money for his business, and her boyfriend doesn't have the nerve to actually rob the guy, so she hits him with a car. And then it kind of reminded me of the segment in Creepshow, thanks for the ride, lady, because the guy kind of haunts her and she thinks he's in her back seat and stuff. And the one that's fear of teenagers, there is a teacher who is having a love affair with these kids' parents. So 3 psycho teenagers decide to show up at her house and try to murder her. They're evil little kids. The girl talks about wanting to make her bleed all over the floor and bleed her out and shit. And she has to defend herself and ends up accidentally killing one of them and almost kills another one. And the girl sits on the porch and makes a phone call. Yeah, I would like to report a murder. It's like, what the fuck? And then the cops come and take her away, but it makes no sense because they came into her house, so it should have been self-defense. Then there's one, The Fear of Firearms, a young mother who's ex-military accidentally kills a kid in the backstory. So in the current story, anything like a violent video game or military stuff on the TV sets her off, and she hits the floor like she's hiding from bad guys, and she flips out in a diner and attacks some people and gets carried off and brought to that facility. And then the one that's The Fear of Imperfection stars Macy Gray. Not only is she a successful singer, she's a pretty decent actor. I have to say her segment was the best one. She is the boss of some kind of office building, and she has a problem with imperfection. She invites some co-workers to her house to go over some plans for work and ends up killing them, and kind of turns into the movie May, where she puts a couple of one of the lady's fingers on her hand along with some other body parts. This movie was decent. A couple of segments was pretty cool, but I think the writing was a little wonky. I don't think it has a lot of rewatch value, but it was worth the watch. Anything's worth a watch, so you can say you've seen it. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't like it, but you have to watch it to find out. Thanks for checking out the video. Peace.